Hello and welcome to another jungle video and another addition to our How to Carry from the Jungle in Season 9 series. The last time we looked at Evelyn and how she used her unique ability to camp a lane with stealth and adapt to the jungle experience nerfs. However, that did take a little bit of time to materialize, and in this video we're going to look at Vi versus Nidalee and how vertical jungling can give you the best position to completely shut down and destroy a lane, but also focusing on the additional things you can do in the jungle in Season 9 to ensure you are carrying games either directly or indirectly, and that includes regaining control of your side of the map after those early vertical jungling phases. Now, Nidalee starts in a Raptors before going to the red, and Vi simply does her red, loops around the long way, and gets off a gank on the top lane at level 2. Now, Sylas and the Vi probably shouldn't have flashed to tower dive the Jace, because the flash that they got from him was simply enough. She could have come back and punished that very shortly. However, Sylas and Jace kill each other off, and you've got that first blood sort of out of the way. Now what Nidalee does in this case is, because she saw the Vi on the top, knows she's going to have the bottom half of the map to herself, she can get the scuttle, she can relax a bit, and Vi goes and takes the scuttle crab on the top side herself. Nidalee's bot lane has been in a good position, and she simply shows up to give a cheeky heal to the Tristana to grab herself a free assist, but nonetheless, it's a little bit of presence, letting the enemy bot know that, hey, I'm here, you have to play very reserved, and in the case of Vi, has now stolen her blue buff. Nidalee will of course do the same thing in kind, and what Vi does is go straight back to the top lane knowing that Jace has no flash, she's hit level 3, with Sylas and Vi's Q, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill. And here's the lesson, in this new meta, in this way where carry junglers have been nerfed a little bit either directly or through the experience nerfs in the jungle, when you are impacting the map as a jungler, and there's a vertical jungling thing going on now. I know most of you will not have a vertical jungling impact in your games, given that it's usually a higher elo occurrence, but it's important to understand how it works, because when it does happen, you don't want to simply be farming the bottom side of the map while the enemy camps top lane. The Vi understands this, and while the Nidalee did show up in a bot lane was winning anyway, the fact that Vi is able to get 2 kills onto the Jace with the Sylas already is quite good. She goes back and steals Nidalee's side of the jungle, knowing that with Sylas proxying, she has that support. Nidalee has simply stolen Vi's blue side already and is heading back to take her Krugs, while Vi, through the wall, unexpectedly or expectedly, depending on your point of view, kills Jace once again 3 times. In the first 3 minutes, she's grabbed a kill. She sacrificed her own farm experience, but she's level 4, just like Nidalee will be after Krugs. So who had the bigger impact in this first phase? Definitely the Vi, because the Sylas now has an insane gold lead and experience lead over the enemy laner. That's great. From Vi's perspective, that means you can actually go and regain control of your bottom side of the jungle, because you know Sylas, if he's worth even half as much as you think he is, should be able to control that lane on his own. As Vi heads to her blue side just to check the camps, you always need to be 100% sure. She should have known they were most likely taken, but in the case of a small wolf being left behind, she can sort of reset the camps from bot to top. The Nidalee is in a good position, having taken the full array of camps available to her to finish off a kill on the enemy Jinx after her bot lane had secured a kill on the Soraka. So Nidalee aided her bot lane, who are now winning, and Vi aided the top lane. The next phase is of course very important. How do we go about carrying from the jungle now, continue to have an impact despite what we think is a weaker role at the moment after the experience nerfs? Well, in this case, the Vi has of course gone from bot to top, and now she has priority over the top side scuttle. The Nidalee went back to base after clearing her second Raptors, and now holds that minion wave in the mid lane to absorb that golden experience, as well as deny platelets getting hit down, because if an enemy lane is chunking those platelets all the time before 14 minutes and getting all those gold ticks while you aren't helping the lane whatsoever, it can actually put your laner in a significant disadvantage. In addition to the fact that having that minion soak of your own while your mid lane is back in base is very useful from a jungler perspective. Now, after Vi moves down to take her Gromp on the second spawn, you'll notice a very interesting pathing event that doesn't happen all the time, but I've actually had happen to me when I'm against Nidalees who love to wall jump and sneak around the map a bit more, is that the Vi had taken her Gromp and looped around to use the plant to hop over in case of any potential river vision. And then you can take a long pathing and loop around so you can get the lane gank off. Nidalee was just reassuming the vertical jungling meta and probably going to go and take that Gromp spawn again. And this is what I meant by Vi taking control of a bottom side jungle again, because she knew the top lane would be absolutely fine after that spam ganking and clearing all topside camps in the first couple of minutes. Now, neither of the Vi or the Nidalee, as you can see from the minimaps, saw each other approach whatsoever. I'm sure Vi had an inclination that Nidalee would want to go and steal that Grump again, and when she noticed it wasn't there, would easily come down and punish her bot lane. Nidalee comes down not knowing that Vi is actually in that bush. Vi misses her Q quite badly actually, but because of her lock on ultimate and Soraka's silence, they're able to pick up a kill on the Nidalee. However, the Soraka falls for the efforts. And then, listen guys, if you're gonna play Vi or something like that, don't flash stun a Tristana who still has her rocket jump because, oh look, there she goes. You're not gonna be able to get her. However, because of that rocket jump having a really long cooldown and Vi being around here with her Q, they're able to still tower dive and finish off the Tristana. Now, from Nidalee's perspective, going in for this gank in a 2v2 or what you assume is even risky anyway because the Xerath had gone back to base. He wanted to buy, he was low, he didn't want to hang around for this gank. And if a lane gank and a counter gank were set up by the Vi's team, you get 3v2'd, which is of course what happened. So Vi did an excellent job in that early phase of stealing all of Nidalee's camps like Nidalee stole hers, but also getting up 3 ganks in the top lane to the point that the lane is over. He lost his flash, he lost his TP, he got killed coming back to the lane, and then flipped the script on its head by gaining control of bot lane and saving her lane, who was in the process of actually losing outright. And as you see, Nidalee does actually punish the Sylas for being over-aggressive on the top lane, and Vi dies but picks up a kill on the Xerath, who punished the Jinx for overstaying after that bot lane gank. That being said, once Vi goes back after those kills in the bottom lane, Nidalee regains control of her own blue side jungle and actually gets a nice snipe onto the Yasuo in the mid lane. Now tracking the enemy jungler becomes more difficult as the game goes on and the map shifts a little bit, and both junglers have an eye on this bottom lane because they know Tristana vs Jinx is a very snowballing matchup, and they're both very snowbally ADCs that when they get really fed and start rotating for towers and dishing out the damage, they can be very difficult to deal with. Now Vi's mistake in this situation is even though they knew Tristana went back, they took too long to pull the trigger on getting the gank off while Tristana wasn't in position to make an impact. Nidalee was just simply holding with the Xerath. The fact that Vi goes in is all well and good, but they took too long to fully execute the plan, which means Tristana shows up in time, and that's a free double kill for the Tristana ADC, while Nidalee gets the heads up there for helping that lane once again. Now, this game is pretty much in an equal state. Nidalee's had a good early game, Vi's had a good early game, but had a few positional and timing errors that could have shifted the way the game was going. And now the goal here is they've impacted lanes. Now the focus is on that first tower and starting to get objectives from all this kill pressure. One of the key aspects of carrying from the jungle in Season 9 is your objective control ratio, as well as how many objectives you can get from kills and lane ganks and so on. So in this case, the Vi has come to the bottom lane, as has the Nidalee. Vi is in the position to counter gank. The Tristana, having a significant lead over the Jinx, decides to rocket jump towards the ADC, burning Jinx's flash. However, when you see that happening as a Vi, you get very excited because basically the ult is a free lock-on. There's no way she's escaping unless she gets a reset, which she didn't get. Tristana makes a mistake of flashing before Vi's ult reaches her, which means you're kind of locked on and you're not going anywhere. They're able to finish her off, and because it isn't quite 40 minutes, the platelets are still there, so they want to get as many of those as they can before they expire, as well as to get closer to that first tower. Now Nidalee tries a bit too hard to hold off. Vi hits a nice double knock-up Q, flashes out of the Xerath stun on the tower, and Jinx picks herself up another kill. Now Nidalee has decided that's enough of those bot lane shenanigans. Let's try and get my top lane back into the game. She heads up there, is able to actually kill the Sylas with the Jace, take Vi's Krugs, and then while Vi has been clearing from bottom to top, her bot lane actually secures that first tower on the bottom side of the map because Jinx obviously had a power spike. They do have Soraka, which is great for poke comps, like against Xerath. Nidalee does what she's meant to do, which is to come and repeat gank. Remember Season 9, repeat gank, lots of pressure, get lanes ahead, fall back to your camps to clear them in between, but definitely have an impact on lanes much more so than you otherwise think you should. Nonetheless, because it's Sylas and he has a disturbing amount of heal on his W, plus the Soraka ultimate, Vi is able to come in and save the day, and they wipe both Nidalee and Jace. That is a devastating turn, an excellent counter gank. Sylas is a bit lucky, Nidalee made the right play, but in terms of champion matchups and of course good timing, they're able to salvage the situation as the red team. And now while Jinx and Soraka rotate and start tower shredding, the Vi actually hangs around with the Sylas once again, and even though Sylas dies to the Xerath, Vi is able to pick up yet another kill onto someone. Her ability to hang around in this game has been excellent. She has gotten off multiple ganks in one rotation before falling back to camps and going back, and that has made a lot of difference in terms of how her lanes are fed as well as how she is fed. So take note, if you want to carry low elos, remember, PvE isn't what's gonna win, it's what you do to lanes, because even if you get all the kills and your laner gets a little bit ahead, you are the one that is now in position to carry, you are far ahead. And from here the game is kind of on a thread. We haven't spoken about the mid laners at all, they've had zero impact on this game, apart from, you know, Yasuo giving Nidalee a free kill. And now this game will come down to one crucial play, one savior play that needs to be made by the blue team if they want to have any chance in hell of coming back. The Vi's immediate rotations on the top lane to help save the Sylas were crucial in determining that top lane tower as well as the subsequent kills, as well as giving Jinx the room to take the mid lane tower. The presence Vi had on the top lane early and on the bot lane afterwards, countering Nidalee's pressure, has really set the tempo for the whole team. Now, Nidalee's team tries to set a trap on the Sylas who they see roaming down. The one shot here is to make a pick, grab the Rift Herald, get some towers while they have a numbers advantage, and neutralize the game before it gets too late. However, Vi once again is right on the spot, rotates nicely, she's able to dive the backline, take out the Jace. This causes an issue because Nidalee's team wasn't able to kill the Sylas due to his heal as well as Soraka's ultimate, because Vi can dive so deep, and if she's able to take out someone and force teams to focus on her, and she makes good plays like the subsequent flash Q onto the Nidalee, that immediately wins the fight for her team. It gives Jinx the ability to do backline damage, Soraka can dish out the heals, Tristana doesn't have enough DPS to deal with all of them at once. She's definitely lost her early game lead thanks to the Vi's presence and counter ganks, and it results in a triple kill and a very hard-won fight for Vi's team. Now once again, what did I say? Objectives off of kills, that's the most crucial thing. Take the Rift Herald, very powerful. I will be doing a video talking about some of these general mechanics for carrying in the jungle very soon, including talking about the Rift Herald. Jinx is able to take the top tower, Vi activates the Herald. It's not the best use, but it definitely opens up the map even more by securing the inner mid lane tower, all while Yasuo has taken control of the 1v1 island matchup he's on versus Zoe and taken the bottom lane inner tower. That gives them absolute huge map lead, gold lead, and tower lead. Nidalee's team doesn't even have a tower. She played very well, but the Vi's approach of really impacting lanes heavily and being the first jungler to make a decisive move in removing the vertical jungling aspect of the game, as well as really snowballing the top lane super hard early to the point that she didn't have to return until that counter gank, and by that stage her Jinx was more fed than the enemy bot lane, her top lane was more fed, and she was more fed. From here it's simply a case of closing out the fights, doing the Baron, and winning the game. There is not a lot of games where you will come back from a 6 tower deficit in high elo, let alone a hyperfed Jinx and Soraka dishing out all that damage. So I hope you were able to learn something about Vi's jungle approach this game. The fact that Jace didn't have CC and Sylas did meant that those early ganks would work much more than if the matchup was the other way around, of course. She did a great job of then rotating that power into the bottom lane and stopping Nidalee's intense pressure that would have resulted in a hyperfit Tristana and a useless Jinx. So it was a smart decision by her. They did lose a dragon from one of her silly plays, and she did mistime a few things, but the intent was good and the execution of most of her plays were very well done, and that basically resulted in her getting a triple kill, having a lot of kills, and positioning her team to carry and end the game in 22 minutes. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and comment if you enjoyed and learned something. I will be covering more about how to carry and impact from the jungle in Season 9 so that we can survive experience nerfs and anything else that comes our way. So subscribe for those League of Legends videos coming very soon. And as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.